Hello team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. So today we're going to be doing another update on what's going on in Israel, between Israel and Palestine, and in the Gaza Strip with the Hamas attack that happened last Saturday. So a lot has been going on, so I just want to sort of update you on this, see where we're currently at and where this could possibly go. So give us a thumbs up, click that subscription button. It really helps us with views, really helps us with the channel, and I really appreciate it. So let's get into it. Starting off then with Gaza. So some of you may not know, with the Gaza Strip, it is sort of bordered between Egypt and Israel. It doesn't actually come under either of their territories. It is part of the Palestine territory. And back in around 2007, Hamas were sort of elected as the political group, and they're sort of known as the political group, but also sort of militant Islamic sort of group. It's, you know, some sort of countries see them as a terrorist group, some see them as a political group, and then obviously what they've done over the last week, you could sort of say it's a terrorist attack, but Israel obviously are not taking this, and it is getting pretty serious, and it could go on for a long time, and we could see a very high death toll. But there's the Gaza Strip, or known as Gaza, is what's been going on. You've got Israel, and then you've got Egypt, and then they've attacked Israel, and then Israel are obviously retaliating. You know, these are just my opinions. I'm not going to sympathise or be on anyone's side. I'm just updating you. If people do something that's bad, it's bad. If people do something that's good, it's good. You know, Israel shouldn't have been attacked the way they were attacked, with, you know, 3,000 to 5,000 missiles and rockets without any sort of warning at all, and you know, they're not liking the repercussions now, but maybe Israel may have taken it too far with some of the issues. So it's been going on since last Saturday. As you'll see here, Israel are not happy, and they've, you know, urged residents to move out from northern Gaza because they are going to counter Hamas with an even greater force, which they have been doing. So within what's happened so far already, there's around 11 to 1400, I think it is, deaths on the Israeli side, and then within Gaza there's around 2,300 deaths. That's not including the thousands upon thousands that have been wounded. So a very high death toll, and a lot of people being wounded, and the majority of these, which is sad to say, are civilians. Men, women, children, and even babies. That's from the initial attack to counter-attacks to even sort of torture and beheadings. It is a wide range of deaths across a wide range of people. Military personnel, civilians, all the way down through women, children, and babies, which is pretty disgusting in my eyes. Shouldn't be happening. It needs to stop. But this is where we're currently at. It's also got a little bit worse where Israel, because you've got Gaza, which is obviously surrounded, for years they have always been sort of lacked any sort of importing or exporting capabilities. So they actually have the highest, sort of one of the highest unemployment rates. They're one of the most densely populated areas in the world as well, with around 2.5 million people within that small area, and they have struggled to get, you know, anything, water, food, equipment, whatever it is. So the unemployment rate has increased, the employment rate has decreased, and Israel recently have sort of started to cut off energy, water, and as they're affecting these civilians there. So, you know, people are saying, look, what happens against Israel is bad, but we need to stop this. They have agreed to renew water supplies to parts of southern Gaza, and Israel Energy Minister has said on Sunday the UN warned late Saturday the lack of water and fuel in Gaza had become a matter of life and death. Okay, you can't just start killing civilians by cutting off water and energy, okay, and food. They do need it. That not everyone is involved in this attack. So let's get some live updates. Here we go. So as of 43 minutes ago, the death toll in Gaza rises to 2,450, with 9,200 people injured. pretty insane. 52% of them are women and children, according to the ministry. We don't know how accurate these figures are, but even anything close to that is just shocking. So looking at this, as you can see, an estimated 1 million Gazans have been displaced in the first 7 days of conflict. That's 1 million people have been displaced. According to United Nations Agency, Israel has deployed tanks and weapons on the border force with Gaza as the military build-up continues amid relentless bombardment. So as of 18 minutes ago, we've got an Israeli military spokesman says that 155 captives are being held in Gaza. We have informed the families of the 155 captives held by Hamas in Gaza. Okay, so that's 155 hostages, okay, which is not good. Really sad for them and really sad for families. Hopefully they can get released. I know there's a lot of people crying out for all these hostages but released, so hopefully that does happen soon. No more of them actually get murdered. So fingers crossed for that one. We have got 200 Hamas members who have been detained in the West Bank though by the Israeli army. So hopefully the only worry of that is that they're going to be treated badly. Let's hope not. Let's hope Israel are not acting the same way and that they are going to treat them humanely and they're just going to hold them captive until all this is over. Death toll of French citizens. Okay, this is where it gets slightly worrying. As we have seen over the news, you've got French citizens, US, British, German, Lebanon. There's loads of citizens that have been in Israel and have been sort of affected, injured or killed by these attacks, and obviously those nations are not happy. So I know French Macron is talking to the Israeli Prime Minister. I believe he's actually talking to the Iranian as well, and he's trying to solve it within Gaza and Egypt to open up the borders again so we can get an evacuation going. He's obviously not going to be happy with that. So let's hope the French don't start escalating if more citizens are killed. This is slightly different to obviously the number we just read, but it's still approximately close. 2,670 Palestinians have been killed with 9,600 being injured. It's a lot of people in around 8 days, 7 to 8 days. Like I said in my last video, 444 people were killed from the UK in Afghan in 20 years. 2,670 Palestinians, a majority of them women and children. You know, no matter what's happened to Israel, do we think that's good? Is it nice? No, you know, it's not good. It needs to stop. UN peacekeepers say HQ struck by rocket in South Lebanon. United Nations peacekeeping force UNIFIL says its headquarters in South Lebanon have been hit by a rocket. Our headquarters in Naqoura was hit with a rocket and we're working to verify where from. Let's hope that doesn't escalate into anything either. And there's a lot going on around this, and some people are like sort of discussing this war could go on for years, or it could escalate even further. You know, you really want to keep stability in the Middle East. We don't want this spreading. Humanitarian assistance is a big one, like we said. They've cut off water, they've cut off fuel, now it's back on. This is women, children, and mainly, you know, even men, civilians that are being affected. Why should they have all their fuel, their water, their food just cut off from them? So humanitarian assistance is an absolute big one with this, and we're going to see where this goes. We're going to have to continue watching that one, but for now I believe water and fuel, etc. energy has been turned back on, so that is a good thing. Israeli front lines are very effective. We're about 3 kilometers away from Gaza. The airstrikes seem to have picked up in the northern area of Gaza over the last hour or so. There's been some outgoing artillery from the Israeli position, a lot of rockets, barrages as well that we have witnessed, around 8 interceptions in the sky close to us. So it's a very active front line. So what this is saying here and what we're seeing a lot of, and this is how the attack actually started. It is a lot of bombardage, a lot of bombardment of artillery. You know, I'm guessing they're using the sort of artillery assets and guns and a lot of missiles and rockets. And it is very devastating. And the biggest thing you've got to take away from that is the battle damage it does, okay? So it's not just 2,500 people being killed or 9,000 being injured. This is all their homes, all their schools, all their businesses in Gaza and Israel are being completely demolished. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. Look at that. This is what I mean. This is what it ends up like. And have they got the money, the resources to repair this quickly? No, they haven't. This is literally how they're living. So, you know, that's just one of the biggest things that's going to happen, and this is going to be destroyed for years. Yeah, there's been a lot of pro-Palestinian rallies, and we've seen them in the UK as well, happen in London, where actual British police force officers are actually getting injured. So let's just hope that stops and we can peacefully protest. You know, we don't want anyone else or any more people getting injured over this. EU leaders back Israel's right to defend itself in line with front international law. The European Union's national leaders back Israel's right to defend itself in line with humanitarian and international law, they have said in a statement. The European Union condemns in the strongest possible terms Hamas and its brutal and indiscriminate terrorist attacks across Israel, and deeply deplores the loss of lives, is a statement from the European Council, which brings together the leaders of the bloc's 27 member countries, while many EU leaders have issued statements on the Hamas attack since it took place just over a week ago. Sunday's was the first by the European Council. There is no justification for terror. We strongly emphasise Israel's right to defend itself in line with humanitarian international law in the face of such violent and indiscriminate attacks. Okay, look. This is what they're saying. This is what I was about to say. We reiterate the importance to ensure the protection of all civilians at all times in line with international humanitarian law. Okay, so that Israel do have a right to defend themselves, just like Palestine will have a right to defend themselves. But it's got to be in line with humanitarian law. You've got to do it. You can't be just brutally murdering civilians or people, or cutting off supply lines so that poverty starts kicking in, they start starving, dehydration, etc. They do have a right to defend themselves. It's got to be in line with international humanitarian law, and that's one thing everyone needs to take away from this. They've got to do it in the right way, no matter how bad or sad it is. It's got to be done in the right way. Gaza invasion could lead to genocide. Arab League. Israel's planned ground invasion of Gaza could lead to a genocide of unprecedented proportions. Possibly. You keep hearing on the news, Israel are going to defend itself and they're going to attack like nothing they've ever seen before. They're waiting for it. They're giving them warning, but they're waiting for it. Yes, they're giving them bombardment and they have reiterated, but apparently they are going to attack them from land, sea and air like no one has ever seen before. So this we've got to be really careful of, and they've got to get those civilians out there. The issue you've got with Hamas, all that they're going to do is they can just drop their weapons, take off any sort of kit and equipment they've got, and they can blend in with the civilian population. It's their political area. They know it like the back of their hands, so it's really hard in that sense. It was the same when we was in Afghan. They all sort of look very similar. They dress the same, so they could blend in with the civilian population, and that's the issue where Israel have got to have here, and it goes back to in line with international humanitarian law. So they do blend in, they drop their weapons. You can't just be killing them and killing everyone. It's just not fair. At least 50 families in the Gaza Strip have been wiped out from the civil registry. The health minister says the families were killed by Israeli shelling and airstrikes. It's sad, 50 families. Thousands will die, more than 1,400 killed in Hamas attacks on Israel. See, it is just as back. You know, the Israeli Prime Minister office said more than 1,400 people have died. You know, it's pretty mental this, what's going on. And like I said, it's got to be done correctly. Israel have the right. They've lost 1,400 people, thousands and thousands more injured, including civilians, not just their military personnel, so they have a right to defend themselves. It's just got to be done in the right way. But where is this going to go? We just don't know. You know, we've got the UK have deployed ship and other task force within the area. So you've got a military package which includes P-8 aircraft, surveillance assets, 2 Royal Navy ships, and 3 Merlin helicopters with a company of Royal Marines will be on standby to deliver practical support to Israel and partners in the region. So they're sending them out there. The US have sent out their sort of weapons and munition to Israel, and they're also sending out task force and ships as well. So we're going to have to see where this continues to go. All we know is the death toll is continuing to climb. It's scary to watch, scary to see, but we're just going to have to see where it goes. Hopefully we can get it to stop soon, but from my sort of opinion of where is this going to go in a minute, it's only going to continue to go up like that in a minute. I think with the way Israel feeling and reacting, and Hamas have the possibility to attack with possible backing, I feel like it's just going to go up for this now. It's not going to end anytime soon. Hopefully it doesn't continue as long as the Ukrainian and Russian war is at the minute, but I feel like it's going to go up like this. We need it to level off and start going down. I feel like the death toll and the people getting injured, the way the Israelis are talking, it's going to continue to go up, but fingers crossed it stops. Let us know what your thoughts are. Give us a comment in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.